My husband's ex-girlfriend is dying, and her last wish is to be with my husband. Original post. As the title goes, my 30 female husband's ex-girlfriend 33 female was recently diagnosed with late-stage breast cancer, and her last wish is to be with my husband 35 male. My husband, let's call him Seb, and his ex Tanya became best friends after their breakup a couple of years ago due to her infidelity. They were together for 5 years. Needless to say, they remain in contact even before he met me. I would be lying if I say it never made me feel uncomfortable even once. It did, and it still does, because Tanya is still in love with my husband. She never denied it, and in fact would even call or message me when she can't get a hold of Seb. Aside from cancer, she also has some mental health issues, thus my husband would always tell me to be kind and patient. Seb is no longer in love with her, of course. She cheated, and Seb swore that he will never get back to her, and that he only sees her as family. Then 2 weeks ago, my husband received a call from Tanya to tell him about the sad news. My husband cried with her and told her everything is going to be okay. They were on the phone the whole day. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that Seb and I moved to Australia a few months ago because of my job, and Tanya is in Canada. They mostly talk via long-distance call or WhatsApp. They've been in contact almost every day since we left, which always bothers me, but what can I do? After that call, my husband told me everything. To be honest, I felt bad for her and I genuinely feel sad. I asked him what's going to happen now, and Seb told me he's going back to Canada, which is a shock. He then told me that her last wish is to be with him. I didn't say anything except, what about me? He said if I can't leave my job, then he's going to visit me whenever he gets the chance. I walked out without saying anything. I've been avoiding my husband since the phone call, and have been ignoring him whenever he tries to bring up the conversation. Yesterday, I found out he already bought a ticket and is flying back home in January. I feel like he's abandoning me, but at the same time I feel that I'm selfish for hating both of them. I'm honestly thinking of getting a divorce, because obviously he's choosing her over me. But at the same time, I thought of why my husband is so attached to her. Seb considered Tanya and her family like his own as he doesn't have one. She's probably like a sister to him now, but Tanya doesn't feel the same. She's madly in love with my husband, and him granting her wish will surely make her think they still have a chance. My entire life I've been putting others first. I've been very patient and understanding about their weird relationship. I feel sick, confused. I want to call her, yell at her for ruining my marriage, for trying to steal my husband from me, for using her sickness to get what she wants, for being a witch. I'm so mad at both of them. What did I do to deserve this? Now for the top advice before reading the update. First, her request is manipulative, inappropriate, and unreasonable. Second, info needed. By be with her, what does that mean? Like, just be there to hold her hand, or to be sexual or what? Third, I would straight up tell your husband that if he chooses her, that your marriage is likely over. Especially if her request includes intimate interaction. This was my thought too. Even if it's to just be with her, she's gonna try to bang that husband. Please just once more, I'm dying. Yep. I think husband showed his true feelings here with his choice. The visiting his actual wife when he gets the chance is the real indicator here. Is he working? How will he pay for the visits? How kind of him to say he will visit his wife when he gets a chance. Also, he's not just giving up on his wife, he's giving up on his life in Australia and his work there. I definitely think he's going back to be with Tanya. Is she even terminal? She has mental health issues. Did she just create this cancer out of desperation? As far as your marriage goes, it doesn't even matter. Your husband Seb has made his decision, and OP is definitely not at the top. She was a placeholder while Seb's sensitive feelings were healing from old girlfriends cheating. OP, it's time for divorce, unless you can accept what you know. Seb needs to get his priorities in order, and sadly for OP, he seems to have shown his hand. A year from now we will be reading about the Great Canadian Miracle. This was my first thought too. She's making this up, or at least using her diagnosis to her advantage. Came here to say the same, and to add, isn't it the dream of all psychos to make up an illness or an accident, to bring their ex running to their side? I'm assuming the ex is in her early 30s as well, and the possibility of her getting late-stage breast cancer is pretty low. If she does get it at this age, her likelihood for recovery and remission is high too, assuming she doesn't have other underlying conditions. If this is real, I do hope she recovers. Honestly, I feel like this a ploy to bring the guy back. I feel bad for the OP, as it's clear that he loves his ex more than her. I hope that in the divorce she sues him for a deceptive relationship. And now for the update. Thank you all for your comments and messages. I didn't expect my post to get this much attention. All I wanted is to get this off my chest, so I can focus on work and other things. I've been a mess, and being in another country with no one, only my husband, is making my situation worse. While some people think that Tanya might be lying about her condition, unfortunately she's not. She was originally diagnosed a couple of years ago and has been on a treatment for it. Only recently she found out it progressed and is now refusing further treatment. Sorry I wasn't too clear about this. My husband said she's giving up. In fact, she wanted to give up a long time ago, but her family, including my husband, wanted her to fight. He's going back to Canada to be her support as per her request. Seb did suggest that I go back home with him. But my job here in Australia is a dream come true for me, and I can't just abandon it, especially not for her. I know that divorce is the wise decision here. My husband obviously can't let go of her, and we can't build a life together if he has a baggage. I love my husband so much to the point that I endured all of these through the years. Thinking of divorce makes me feel like I'm dying, and I don't know if I will ever be ready of letting him go. I haven't talked to my husband yet, but I think he already knows what's going to happen. I apologize for everyone who's asking for an update. As many have guessed, I am not a good communicator, which is why the situation got this bad. I am partially to blame for letting this happen to me, to us. I already contacted a lawyer to know the next step. Again, thank you everyone for your comments and messages. It made me feel better. I feel horrible for wanting to stop a dying person's wish and for being mad with someone who's helpless, but you all are right. I should also think of myself. Please take care of yourself in this moment. If possible, maybe the divorce can happen before he leaves. That way you both can break clean. And once she does die, he might come back with beautiful words of remorse or guilt, but please don't let that blind you. He has made his choice. And if he is this attached, there will forever be a shadow from her staining everything. Wishing you the best. Go to therapy, you didn't cause any of this, he never deserved you. I'm so sorry he's an idiot. You'll get better, good luck. A few things I'd like to say. 1. You didn't cause any of this. Communication wouldn't have helped the situation at all. Your husband and his ex are being exceedingly unreasonable. 2. I haven't talked to my husband yet, but I think he already knows what's going to happen. He is literally abandoning his wife to go be with his ex. Yeah, he knows what the end result is, and if he doesn't, he is an actual moron. 3. He's going back to Canada to be her support as per her request. This is where I'm confused. If they're ex-partners, why is he going back there? I don't know if he has kids with her or not, but there must be a reason why they split, and if he still holds a flame for his ex, I have to wonder why. This whole situation is bizarre from his part. 4. I already contacted a lawyer to know the next step. Good, you need to protect yourself. His stupid butt isn't going to. Good luck, and if you need us, reach out. 5. But my job here in Australia is a dream come true for me and I can't just abandon it, especially not for her. You're right, don't. 6. I know that divorce is the wise decision here. It's really the only decision. Who knows if she will ask him, can we just sleep together before I go? If he has no issue moving countries, that's much less of a request to do, and that would be extremely unfair to you. When she is gone, what is he gonna do then? Okay honey, I'm ready to be back in the relationship now. Get the hell out of here. In my opinion, divorce is unreasonable, but he obviously doesn't care about your feelings, literally at all. 7. I apologize for everyone who's asking for an update. You don't owe us anything. Focus on yourself and getting your stuff in order. The internet can wait, unless you need us of course. Good luck. Sorry your husband is an ass. They split because Tanya cheated on him. Yeah, she clearly doesn't give a damn about cheating on a moral level, so what's to stop her from propositioning this married man that she's in love with? Literally nothing lol. I think OP is giving her husband way too much credit. He's convinced her that he doesn't have romantic feelings for Tanya, that it's all one-sided, but he's literally walking away from his marriage to move back to Canada for her. He promises to visit his wife when he gets a chance though. What a stand-up guy. I'm astonished by his audacity. He plans to go to Canada, watch her die, be devastated, then come running back to OP for comfort. Like, is this guy for real? OP, the acceptable thing for your husband to do here is to briefly visit her one last time, say his goodbyes, then come home. Not actually move there for who knows how long, and expect you to be waiting patiently back home. And it's definitely not acceptable that he asked you to give up your dream career for her. He's very clearly not over her, and he very clearly doesn't care about you at all. I'm so sorry he doesn't, but please don't let him waste any more of your life. You seem like a good person who's been taken advantage of. You deserve better. Whatever you do, do not let him come running back to you once she dies. You can't compete with a ghost. Now for the last story. I just called off my wedding after I found out he slept with his ex-girlfriend on our bed while I was away. I was supposed to get married last Saturday. I found out he was cheating a bit more than a week before the wedding. His ex-girlfriend had been sleeping with him in the same apartment that he and I shared while I was traveling for work. It wasn't a one-time thing. I got evidence he did this regularly. 2 months ago, he said something that cracked my trust. He suggested his ex-boss was just yummy. I was hurt, jealous, and felt disrespected when he went on about her being his one that got away. For a long time, he denied ever dating, sleeping with, or ever having any involvement with her. I went for my phone that I loaned him very briefly. It's an old phone, so he didn't want to keep it. I found it in his brother's drawer. His brother used it briefly. I felt guilty and ashamed for going through someone's things. The chip wasn't there, but still, I found some messages. I will say that from what I read, they never saw me as a family member. It breaks my soul to read his brother's advice. She has money, don't ever pull out. And how his entire family is counting on me helping them out. The rest of the messages include bragging about lunch break hookups with co-workers, fear over having been beaten up by the security detail of the man who married his ex, and mocking me when I was mildly depressed because we broke up very briefly last year. His brother suggested to drive her down, I don't know what this means, to keep me in line. They also agreed that his brother would call me regularly to find out about my mood. His brother did call me a lot during that time. I took his tablet with me on my trip as he hardly uses it, only to read his real-time messages. He talks to multiple women, and he invited his ex-girlfriend to stay over for 2 nights out of the 4 nights I was away. I told my family because I didn't know how to deal with this. I wanted to fly in the middle of the night and confront them, but that could mess up my job schedule. My breakup was a crap show. I told my boss I would need to leave earlier, but he wasn't pleased. He agreed to allow me to leave a bit earlier if I completed my assignment, which I did with help from my colleague. I arrived roughly 12 hours earlier. My best friend and my sister and their boyfriends were there to help me pack my stuff. His affair partner was still there. They weren't in bed or anything, but she was doing the dishes and was barefoot with a shirt and underwear. I hate her, but was almost sorry for her when he tried to blame her for the entire affair. I hate him more than I've hated anyone. My family went around gathering my things and my pets, while he first acted contrite, then was angry, then begged for a second chance. Of all the things he could have said, he went crazy when he tried to log into the bank account I opened for us and found out that he couldn't access it, as I called the bank to help me change all PIN numbers, close it, and open a new one. I grabbed my pets, my belongings, and whatever was mine and left. My family has been helping me with this. I had to return all the presents and cash gifts. I didn't want to call anyone, but my friends did. My sister got fed up with his family saying horrible things about me, so she posted a brief video of him and affair partner while we were arguing, to prove that he cheated. They were implying that I was unfaithful and that my business trips were a sham. I will never be able to erase seeing her in her underwear standing in our kitchen. She called me names and brought up my age and said, at least I'm not almost 40 and trying to snag a husband. She's in her mid-20s. He's my own age. I changed my number and deleted all my social media. I don't know what to do. I hope my transfer application is accepted. I feel numb and don't know if to stay with my family or get my own place or what. I feel nervous all the time. I'm dreading going back to work. I had to tell my boss and got a wellness break. I wasn't on his lease, but paid for everything else while he tried to get out of debt. My parents changed their numbers because his family keeps calling. They wanted to know if I was interested in letting him keep the car. I've already lost too much weight. I hate Netflix because I can't stand scenes about kissing or engaging in physical contact. It reminds me of them. I feel crushed and stupid. If he didn't want me, he needed to just have left me alone. I was on cloud 9 thinking of our relationship and our future. It was a huge lie, and him and his family apparently had me as their own private comedy. This just hurts so much. His children that I loved never reached out. We used to exchange emails all the time. I never blocked them from my phone. I guess they share the sentiment that I'm just a detail on their landscape and a dollar sign. Right now, all I have is my job to help me retain some personal dignity. I'm clean, but I have lost all interest in looking presentable. I hate looking at the mirror. I hate all of my underwear because I bought it to look nice for him. My friend suggested a makeover, but that's not going to help change my reality. My best friend is trying to help me sell the dress. I never want to see it again. I'm looking for advice on moving on or forgetting or something. I don't want to date. I don't think I will ever trust a man enough to fantasize about a life together. How do I keep myself from falling apart? Thanks for reading. I would really like some advice. Now for the top advice. You do realize that there is no way to go but up. This guy was literally the worst ever. Don't let him keep the car. Not happening. I got the car and both keys, and there's no reason for him to keep it, other than not having enough credit to buy a new one. My heart truly aches for you. Your ex and his family are toxic, so I am really glad you discovered all of this prior to your wedding. It's cliche and true, time will help to heal you. Being gentle to yourself will help. It sounds like you are well supported by friends and family. Lean on them. Let them carry you through hard times. I lost my then fiancé very tragically years ago. It took everyone around me to keep me going. I could not imagine any way to go on. So I truly focused on one task at a time, and I cut myself a ton of slack. I managed to work, and that was about it for a while. I was forever damaged by this loss. I eventually met someone else. I was still grieving, but he brought a bit of joy to my life. What I didn't realize was that he was a dangerous narcissist and I was easy prey. He spent months pulling me in and years mistreating me. Thankfully, my friends pulled me out eventually. I really didn't know how I could start over again, especially since I was in my late 30s, close to 40. I felt even more damaged, hurt, and just empty. Gosh, I don't know why I'm writing all of this. I'm hoping you'll see why your story resonates with me, because I've been there. My history isn't the same as yours, but I think I can relate to how you are feeling. Just depleted, done, sad. I again relied on friends and family. I actually changed my career, much less money but much more flexibility and work-life balance. I indulged in my hobbies. I traveled. I dated around. Met some nice men. Even got serious with a couple of them. And eventually met my fiancé when I was in my mid-40s through a mutual interest in real life, though I am a fan of trying online dating. I really hope that you can read this and decide that if I got through all of that, you can get through this. Not right away, but eventually. There are good men out there. I like relationships, though no harm in being single as long as you'd like. I hope the best for you. Thanks so much for your thoughts and response. It truly is amazing that you are such a resilient person. This is inspiring.